Thanks for coming in. Thanks. Today, the talk's title is Prompt Failure. It is about AI observability in general. And to start with, something about me. I'm currently working as a senior technical product manager at Groupon. Any Groupon users? Have you heard of Groupon? Yeah. Okay, so maybe we are just coming in Europe, but we are basically more focused towards North America market. So prior to this, I was the CTO of a company. Then I sold it off, and I transitioned from engineering to product management and like program management kind of stuff. I love engineering, I love scaling, and I love selling. And I have a YouTube channel as well with the name of Tech with Prerit. Like in 2025, we had the most watched Kubernetes series. Any Kubernetes fan here? Nobody is Kubernetes fan. So I love creating content, and in last year we got about 18 million impressions on LinkedIn, and I love speaking at conferences as well. So KubeCon, GopherCon, RubyCon, name the conference. So I will be, or I have already spoken there. NDC was on my list, so I came here. And I love traveling, and I have a dog. His name is Jerry. I love golden retrievers. And this is where I was yesterday. So I was in Scotland, and I was in Inverness. Has anybody heard of it? Inverness? Lovely place, lovely. So I was there, and I just came here like today 9 a.m. and I was sleepy. I missed the keynote, but I'm here for my talk. But the place is lovely. You should visit it. And so let's come to the topic. And before that, disclaimer. I hate to do this because previously I was the founder of my own company. I never used to put such disclaimers, but because now I work for a publicly traded company, so I need to do it. So the views expressed are, it feels like I'm in court, but the views expressed are my own and do not necessarily reflect those of my employer, clients, or partners. So let's start. So today what I'm going to share is two sides of the story. First one is startup, and second one is enterprise edition. Okay, enterprise because I come from now enterprise kind of role where I manage. Okay, I forgot to tell about my role. So currently I manage the global teams of cloud, DevOps, cloud CI/CD, observability, databases, and previously AI as well. This is kind of my role there. I work with the CIO. And so coming back to the topic, so today I'm going to speak about startup because I come from a startup background, and also the enterprise version. So what challenges as an employee of an enterprise company I saw, and how you can kind of overcome those challenges. The first thing is that I have pivoted some of my talk here. So I have transformed my talk from OpenLit focused to not more of a tool focused talk. So it will be more about LiteLLM, Langfuse, OpenLit, and I have some demos as well. So it will be more about demos, I guess, like 30-40% will be demo and 60% will be slides. But a very cool report, a very solid and strong report by PwC. I've just linked it down here, and you must read it. Because with AI, what happens is now everybody is a builder, everybody is a 10x engineer, and we are just this close to AGI. And I don't know, personally, I use AI, but I love AI, but I don't find enough value. I'm not using my brain at any point of time. So I'm just copying, pasting as a product manager, creating PRDs, creating various kind of documents. I'm just kind of copying and pasting. But when you copy and paste, that's the most important part in today's era, because you need to focus on what kind of tokens are you inputting and outputting. So coming to the topic, just to be on the same page, I'm sharing a Slido. So it would be great if you can scan it and share what kind of tools or solutions you have used till date. Anything about AI? like it can be cloud sub-agents, it can be cloud skills, it can be your vertical agents, it can be your, has anybody heard of CloudBot? X users, yeah. So it took X by storm. So a guy, he created a simple agent which you can install on your Mac Minis and your simple laptops, and you can just ask the agent to do that particular task. So now it is pivoted to multi, but brilliant tool. So let's see. So sub agents is me. I was just testing it. Okay, GitHub Copilot. Okay. Spec Kit, I haven't heard of it. Okay, GitHub Copilot, Amazon Q, OpenAI Codex, okay, Claude Code, nice, I use that as well. Cursor AI, Multibot, okay, M365 Copilot. Okay, Copilot, I think most of the users here are for Copilot. Yeah, it is nice too. LangChain, okay, who is for LangChain? Oh, nice. So Langfuse and LangChain are kind of correlated in some fashion. I will be showcasing the Langfuse part. Okay, so nice to know that so many people are using any AI solution. I was hoping more for Claude Woods, but yeah. So my next question is, have you found the ROI? I don't want to feel like I am the only one in the room saying, okay, I haven't found ROI. Okay, who said yeah? Okay, can you explain a bit, like, what is your, like, how did you find the ROI for this AI? But
I helped a company create a tool to help them. What's the English word? They had to comply to a bunch of
compliances.
Yeah, compliances, and I helped them, scan documents to
Okay.
find
Okay.
documentation on how they.
Okay. Okay. So thanks for sharing that. Let's go to the slide back. Okay, who's I don't care? Okay. So yeah. Okay. So glad to know that we are on the same page. So currently, where we are at is a transformation phase, right? Similarly, there was a transformation phase from enterprise or on-premise to cloud, right? Do you know about cloud or DevOps, Kubernetes? We are on the same page, okay. So there are two kinds of transformers, right? First one is step-up transformer. Second one is step-down transformer. So since we all are in that transformation phase, right, where we can either step up or step down, and I think this is where such conferences play a huge part, where we come, share our journeys, share some ideas that you can implement, and help Bit transform into something better. So, first of all, why this talk? Most of the orgs already have AI. Most of the people already know about AI, as you said that. I use Copilot, I use Claude, I use M365, though I haven't heard of anyone using that, but there are people who use that. And adoption is rising, right? We, as compared to Prerit, who was consuming AI in 2025, I currently consume hell lot of more input and output tokens, and that shows that I am adopting AI, right? And people are implementing, people are learning, but that is a cool transition, right? So, but the problem here is that only a few people or few companies or few startups or few enterprises or few companies or few organizations know how to effectively use AI. And ROI is mixed or clear. As from my perspective, from my experience, ROI is not at all clear. So AI is more of a, like, you apply today, after 1 year or maybe after 8 months or 9 months, when things come into a proper picture, you then realize, okay, this is my ROI. We can't simply state that, okay, by using Cloud Code, we will get to $1 million savings, right? It is not that easy to define. The next one is reliability and visibility is still difficult because, for example, in August previous year, I learned about Cloud sub-agents. I learned it, I developed my own, and then in October, they launched Cloud Skills. When I learned Claude skills, then in December or January this year, there was a guy for Claude bot. So this is an not ending kind of a cycle where I try to be better at something, but next day some other thing is launched. And similarly, when you see Y Combinator or Y Anderson Howard's any portfolio, you can find n number of companies who are building for n number of problems. God knows if even that problem exists or not. But they are developing a lot of vertical agents. So previously, like in March, it was all about vertical AI agents, people building wrappers on it. But recently, Claude even launched their Excel kind of agent. Now you can easily manipulate the Excel sheets or the spreadsheets in your Claude. So now those companies will be shut off, right? And similarly, every 3 months or every 4 months, there is some new finding, there is some new way. Previously, it was about RAGs, then it came about knowledge graphs, then it came about how better you have your context, right? So at our company as well, we had like zero context of any system. Then we pivoted to building knowledge bases, then improving those particular knowledge bases, and then finally like sharing those knowledge bases in across the entire company. But the problem here is that problem is still the same, right? CXOs always want kind of controlled scaling where they are ready to invest some kind of money, but they want controlled, right? In a controlled fashion that, okay, our costs shouldn't explode overnight, or our security shouldn't get compromised overnight. Second is FOMO, right? And I think this is the biggest factor and biggest problem here, because every person or every company feels like there's a fear of missing out, right? If I don't implement AI, or if I don't build my own solutions, I will be left out and I will just lose my job, or my company will go bankrupt. I will lose my customer share, I will lose the customer satisfaction and everything else. So I think in life also, most of the things are driven by FOMO. They are not driven by you or what you want or what problem you are solving. It is more about what the next person is doing, or how is my neighborhood doing, or how are my relatives doing. So the third problem is teams will still try to innovate, because I personally feel like, because I work with a lot of teams, I have seen there is that one engineer in that particular team who tries to overcomplicate the things, who tries to build the custom solution, micro solution, and that too in a silo. Okay, so Prerit, I'm working on this particular agent. I think that we will save about $100K by developing this AI agent. Let me do that. And after 2 months, when the product is shipped, technology is changed. People no longer require that, and so excess innovation is still the problem, because with AI, in the first slide itself, everybody feels like they are a 10x engineer, they are kind of builders, they can build some really good solution and then open source it and then sell it, and then maybe Claude or maybe Anthropic or OpenAI will acquire it. But the things are pretty different out here. And the last part is primary part deviation, which I personally feel, because in the morning when I try to organize myself, okay, this is my priority for today, and by the end I don't know, after 1 hour or 2 hours, I'm in that prompts and I'm copying, pasting, I don't know what I'm doing. So problems are still the same, because in cloud or Kubernetes world as well, we had a lot of problems, we had a lot of so in every transformation phase, I think the baseline remains the same. These are the four particular problem sets that we want to overcome. And the problem here is that why AI observability is somewhat different. I personally feel like observability still remains the same. You still have, so the core agenda is just to observe. Like, for example, you are sitting in this room, you are just observing this, right? Maybe for 2 minutes you're observing what my colleague is, what a person is taking a picture of, or what he's noting down or she's noting down, or maybe the weather looks good outside, or maybe the speaker is speaking a bit of like in a different English satire, or a different tone or language, or maybe why these seats are empty or not. So AI observability is somewhat different. You still have to define logs, you still have to collect metrics, you still have to have the dashboards, but a couple of things are different in here. So HTTP 200 is not the success here. Though somebody can say that, okay, if we don't receive 200 from an endpoint, that particular, it doesn't apply. But generally, we don't measure AI observability in terms of 200s, 300s, or 500s. The second one is latency is spiky because so if you are a 10 or 20 person company, it feels fine, okay, even if that latency is, and also it depends on if you are a end user facing company or you are just developing on your own. You are just building for cloud companies. So there's a big difference between what Get Your Guide is and then Hetzner or some other company is. So latency is spiky, correctness is probabilistic. I create content, right, on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Hardly I use those particular tools to draft my final posts, right? Because every time I do that, every time I try to give the context, I try to give them the AI, the links of my previous posts. Never it is the same. And anybody who's reading it or anybody who's paying me to post that particular content will not be happy because the tone is different, the person feels like different, the post is a bit off. But there are a couple of things which we can observe, which we can implement in OpenLit, LiteLLM, or Langfuse just to see how correct we are. And the fourth part is risk. So there is always some risk associated. So most of the companies, how I feel is, are exposing the kind of PII. A lot of employees are, and that's why they are just using Olama or some other open source offline LLM. And cost is variable. So today, I think in the morning itself, I hit the hard limit for my OpenAI key. That's why, like today, I had to pivot to Anthropic key. So if you don't know about, because I read the room and I felt like some of the people are not from cloud or platform engineering background. These are 4 pillars of observability: metrics, logs, traces, and profiles. So metrics just tell you what those trends are, and then so our core focus here will be traces. Because that's the core part for your AI prompting, because we will see how from parent trace you go to child trace and spans and some other things. So logs is just like the transcripts. For example, you go to YouTube, you see the transcripts of a particular video. Logs are similar to that. Logs are transcripts of your particular application. Profile is more of application layer or application code level changes. So for example, a function is calling some other function and you just want to optimize those particular calls, you go to profiles. And for trace, you actually look at the entire journey, not from function to function call, but from the entire your software. So this is generally what observability in AI looks like. Now, I won't bore you with these kind of diagrams, but at first we have user layer, then agent layer. So not previously, but today also, there are a lot of companies who provide just the AI agent layer. I think in all the layer, we have a lot of companies who do that. But our core focus here is user layer and agent layer. Model layer, I feel like it is kind of dissipating. We don't even need that because we know there are 2 best models, Anthropic and OpenAI. So I think that's pretty evident. And then we have VectorDB if you want to have a different VectorDB in maybe Vertex AI and Google Cloud or somewhere else. And then the infrastructure layer. As far as I know, a lot of people don't even observe that because I think 2 years back it was very difficult. 2.5 years back it was even difficult to have the traces for GPUs or have a proper observability for GPUs because there is a context switch between it comes down to how your GPUs and CPUs work in correlation. So there is more of a context switch, and 2.5 years back, people like companies didn't have that kind of technology. to observe GPUs. So coming to the picture, so startup and enterprise both want AI, but in their own fashion. But in general, I feel like observability, even for startups or even for enterprises, it is still the same. And what I feel like is most of the companies need automation, not AI. So personally, in my daily use flow, daily work life, I just use AI to summarize, to create PRDs, to have the scoping doc, to rephrase politely more. So with extra politeness, so it depends on who I'm reaching out to. So if it's the CEO, then extra politeness. But the goal here for all the companies or all the CEOs or all the non-tech CEOs is 100% AI coverage across our all stack. And then this guy arrives. So if do you like memes? Please laugh. So these are kind of my favorite memes for AGI and for AI. And I kind of like this man. Please, bro, we are so close to AI. And next month there is a big round raising in Dubai or UAE. And this is also a good kind of memes which we share internally. And but it reflects, okay, it reflects where we are heading to. And these days it's not more about problem statement, it is more about can we add AI. And I think most of it is driven by FOMO. If we don't just apply it, maybe we will lose the race. And it is pretty evident from the PwC kind of survey where CEOs even said that they are not even sure about next quarter's revenue, and no company is, because you never know. You never know, there is some new AI agent in the market which can replace something. So actually, if you know or not, but please go to X, search for CloudBot. And if you don't know, I don't know what happened to me as well. So I ordered a Mac Mini new, like maxed out version, because of that CloudBot. So this kind of influence such tools have on us, right? So today we are going to look at the enterprise as well, and I will just add startup flavored on top of it. So we have the coder, okay? Then we have the GTM guy who does marketing, and then the coder is coding, and GTM is who looks for go-to-market strategy, does marketing as well, does product research as well, and then we have the accelerator. So accelerator is more of a sales role, and for example, in typical enterprise story, they will all have their micro solutions, okay? So the sales team will have their sales portal, and this is what at least I have seen. So every person in the team is developing for them. Marketing team will have their own kind of platform. Yeah. So they will have their own kind of platform where they have their context, they have their knowledge bases, they have all the information in order to create new images, new brand promotions, new kind of integrations. And there is engineering, which I feel like is kind of overly complicated by AI. But I don't know. It may happen that it is just with me, but I feel like apart from summarizing or apart from suggestions, we are not that good with AI. Again, it is good with rapid prototyping. So these three websites or these three front ends were developed by AI and in under 10 minutes, and they were integrated with like OpenAI in the backend, and you just need to mention the spreadsheet and it will do that for you. But the problem here is that though it took me 10 minutes because I already knew what it will throw at me, so I was very deterministic in my fashion, in my prompts. That's why I got it done in maybe 20 minutes at max. So in typical enterprise journey, we have three kind of people or three kind of verticals at max, right? So enterprise, accelerator, and GTM. all have different micro solutions, all have their different kind of mindsets, all have different VPs, directors, different culture, uh, and different kind of thought process. Okay, so actually the left one is Steve Jobs, if you can like correlate. Okay, so the failure mode one. So we are looking at the marketing part, the marketing team. I will just like go in a very fast fashion for these because I'm running a bit short on time. Latency spikes. Again, I feel like it depends. If you are a end user facing company, then latency, yes, it matters the most. It should be the first thing in your priority bucket. But if you're not an end user facing company, I think this shouldn't be in your even top 2 or 3 priorities. I agree that if it is exposed to internal teams and if it is very buggy or very high latency, most of the teams will lose interest. They will just find some alternatives, or they will just innovate their own solutions. And again, we go in the rabbit hole of building custom micro solutions in silos. So the problem here is first latency spikes, which we will be seeing in a moment, how and when or which things they actually depend on and how you can observe it. Then again, P95, I think most of us know it is 95% of percentile, 95th percentile. So now we will see how the entire things revolves around in latency in just a few moments. And then failure mode 2 for the same team is same input, different answers. As I told you, this was about marketing team, and because they need to have the same same kind of brand image or brand narratives. You can't just have different tones or different kind of writing fashions for for the same team, and this was failure mode 2. Okay, this was for sales team. But in general, what they need is P50, P95, P99 if they are kind of end user focused. So P99 should be your first priority. If you're not, then P95 or even P50 can work depending on your budget, your observability stack. The next one is change tracking. So at big enterprises, it may happen that if we are constantly using the same prompts, and so generally I told you most of the people will use it for summarize, for tone change, for your code reviews. Though I haven't seen many people directly copying pasting the entire code, we have CodeRabbit and other tools for that. But most of the people will use for these kind of areas AI. So the next one is risk and PII, and it is very hard to track. I feel like we won't be showcasing this today because we don't have such kind of solutions, or at least what I know of, we don't have for today. And then it is more about like latency, queue spikes, how to observe them, and stuff like that. Again, same thing with the different team. They need to review the outcomes. They need to see if their prompt or their answers are hallucinating or not. And in the end, you should have a trace record or a audit log for all the things that the particular team is doing. When it comes to engineering, it is very important and very kind of unique in the fashion. So for engineering teams, they have 15 different tools. Every tool is designed to work in some different kind of vertical. And I hate to say this, but it is more of a tool sprawl. And I've seen many companies paying for 100 licenses, 200 licenses, and just because 3 employees chose to pick that particular tool. But this is how software is designed, right? Google could have used a single app for Gmail, for Google Chat, for your Meet, for your calendar, but they chose to have different particular apps and particular different services. This is how things are designed in tech. And when it comes to unique, it depends, right? Because personally I use Claude sub-agents, but the other person may use Claude skills. The next person may use some vertical agent from some Y Combinator company, or maybe some open source version, or they are developing some kind of a wrapper around it. Then there is a tool called as N8N. And has anybody used it? N8N? No? Okay, so please use it. So it is the best tool that I have used in 2025 second half. You can simply automate the stuff. So though it was not part of this particular pitch, but so this is the tool that you can use. So it can basically automate automate any kind of stuff. So for example, in the morning you want to have your morning brief, depending on the previous day's meetings, your maybe your Google Chat responses, your support channel tickets, or your like incidents. You can simply create some automation with N8N and use it on your own. It is open source again. None of the tools that we are seeing today are closed source. They all are open source. So N8N is the tool that I use on daily basis. And so coming back to topic, it may also happen that different teams have their different even custom solutions. And that is the very kind of unique part and very difficult part, because different solutions will kind of have different observability pre-built, and then if you want to build something on top of it, it comes with extra complexity. So particularly for tech teams or engineering teams, you need to have your audit log, you need to have some guardrails, you need to have some token or cost per workflow kind of things. We'll be seeing this in a moment. But have you realized this? Every team kind of is revolving around the same thing. First, they need to have cost. Second, they need to have guardrails. For example, marketing team can have different guardrails. Your engineering team can have different guardrails. But guardrails is there. They all want to track the cost. And forget about teams, but even the CEOs want to track the cost. If you're publicly listed, it should be out there in your like reports or things like that. The third thing was you want to have better control over which team wants to use which kind of model. We will be showcasing it in just a moment. Has anybody used OpenLit, LiteLLM, or Langfuse? Okay, perfect. Then this is my kind of audience. So coming to the topic, OpenLit. This is an open source tool. Again, whatever we talked about till now, it solves that particular problem. So it has your analytics dashboard. It has your everything is based on open telemetry. So open telemetry OTel is the next thing or the current thing in the observability space, where you just need to have one OTel collector and it will just collect all the kind of metrics and observability or different kind of signals from your systems. It comes pre-built with cost tracking, exception monitoring, prompt management, and experimentation with different LLMs. So let's go to the demo part, right? So coming to OpenLit, okay. So what I've done is I have just deployed a simple application in my local. In the morning itself, I deployed everything. So everything that you see here was working, but I don't know what happened, but it was not working before the talk. So I developed some of my application like in the afternoon, and I think 2:37 p.m. and kind of integrated it with OpenLit. So as we talked about, OpenLit is a platform, not a tool, but a platform which can do cost management, which can do hallucination checks, which can do model management, which can do it can store your OpenAI keys or different keys that you have, and also you can just it has the traces as well. So the main part of your particular observability layer. So I developed this particular application, which, as I told, billing hard limit reached in the morning. But we will get to that part as well. So it is more of a image generator. You just need to give the campaign brief, your foundation style, what kind of image sizes do you need. Right now it just supports one, and then the kind of quality you want, high, medium, low. Transparent should be transparent, background should be transparent or opaque, and the model that you want to pick. You just need to hook it up very easy. The simple pip install, just have your Python and 2-3 lines of code. You just need to install it, and or you can instrument it with SDK, but totally easy to work with. For example, my net is connected. So for example, I want to have a maybe not 20%, but our company decided to go with 50% of annual subscription. I know it won't work because we have already reached that particular limit, but in here you should see a particular trace request which is 456, and you can easily see there are 3 calls, right, from Marketing Studio. So these are more of our traces, or you can say simply requests. So if you click on each one of them, you get, okay, this was responded back in 2.6 seconds. This is the scope name, this is the span name, and a different kind of resource attributes for particular traces. And similarly for here, but OpenLit here is not that great with your traces. That's why I thought of adding Langfuse in here. So coming back to our topic, again, everything is same. We are doing trace management. We are observing the traces. We are going to see the model cost. We are going to see the how you can implement different kind of models for different teams. How you can just have one single OpenAI key or Anthropic key or Gemini key and distribute it to the entire org. So this is the main use case for this particular talk today. That, for example, you have a very big enterprise, maybe 5,000 people, 2,000 people, or 1,000 people, and you don't want to pay for each person's license key. And because each key costs about $23, and no team should, I think no company should give every employee one particular API key for each particular company. So for that particular use case, we have LiteLLM. I know I'm dodging off different tools, but please trust me, it will all fall into the right place. So what we have here is virtual keys, okay? So you simply need to mention your OpenAI key. For example, let me go to your settings, yeah, and where is it? It happens, yeah. Yeah. So when you go to models and endpoints, you can simply define a single OpenAI key. For example, you work for xyz.com. You just need to have one single API key, have a contract with OpenAI that, okay, we are going into enterprise key, or have some custom kind of billing for us, and we're just going to have one key. You can just add your key in here. I'm just going to showcase it to you. Okay. No, we can't showcase, but you just need to add it here, and then everything is sorted. So next thing you need to do is create virtual keys. So virtual key is more of a many to one mapping. So for example, you can have 100 virtual keys for one real key, and they will be all mapped to that particular one single key. So for example, I want to just use Prerit NDC 2026 2, okay, and I just want to make sure that I don't use any model other than Claude Opus 4.5, or we can have like different list of models, or we can also assign a particular team some kind of different models. Okay, marketing team should only stick to Gemini, because what we have done is our engineering team has analyzed Gemini is good with your image generation. And similarly for sales team, you can stick to one different model, you can stick for engineering a different model. And I think this is the best way in order to fully transition the teams into AI and empower the teams to adopt more of AI. So you can just click Opus, okay, or Opus, whatever you call it, and then you can have some optional settings as well. So either you can kind of self-create these kind of virtual keys. So you can have anything, what I showcase it to you, hook it up with LiteLLM, super easy to do it, simple, like you just need to call the endpoint and give the payload, and then the virtual key will get generated. And you can just do it in a self-service kind of a fashion. You can define the max budget, reset budget. You can define how many requests the particular key can receive in a particular minute or seconds, and then you just need to create the key. Now this particular virtual key is created. Again, a single downside here is that every call that you're going to make to LLM, Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini, will go through LiteLLM. So it is kind of a proxy which is sitting in the middle governing everything. So again, it is not a kind of a proxy, but it is a proxy. So sitting in the middle, observing your calls, observing your centralized usage of AI, giving you the total number of input-output tokens, depending on team, depending on your employee, and you can also have budgets per teams and per employee. So you just need to copy the virtual key and you just need to make some calls. So for example, we want, because in the morning itself, I hit that particular limit for the spin. So let's go, let's connect, and then we will see the similar calls in Langfuse, in LiteLLM, who made which call, when was it made, and how much millisecond it was replied back. So let me do this one, okay. So just a simple call request, and here, okay, base URL, and I think it should work, okay. So as you see here, it is saying that, okay, let me increase the font. So it is saying that this key can only access models 4.5, right? But in that particular text, we made a call with 4-1, right? So this is, again, I didn't want to showcase this use case, but eventually it turned out to be. But this is how you can restrict certain kind of users. So for example, you have 50 or 100 people in your company, and you know that, okay, these are the pro users, these are the medium users, and these users don't even use it. So it would be better to just give them certain kind of budget and with certain kind of models. So and now coming to the LiteLLM part, you can simply see in the usage, it gives you a lot of data. So how many requests were made, again, depending on teams, depending on organization, depending on these days people are using a lot of agent-to-agent communication. You can also add it in here. The kind of failed and successful requests. So right now, the request that we made, it came under failed requests, the total kind of tokens and the total cost. Also with the models. So for example, you want to see where my company is going to, and how much are we spending for Anthropic and OpenAI, and for example, you have a contract renewal and you want these kind of data. It is out of the box, so there is no need for you to implement on your own. The next one is your logs. So logs is more of a new feature for them. It is under beta. I haven't used it that bit, but it is again a good feature to have in here. And now coming to the guardrails part, right? So for example, you want to have Google Cloud Armor sitting in the middle. So Google Cloud Armor is another service by Google Cloud, which is meant for, again, it is more of a proxy which checks for which kind of data or which kind of request you are making. You want to have Google Cloud Armor sitting in the middle, and you want to capture or deny or allow a particular kind of request to particular set of IPs, to particular set of ports and things like that, more from a security point of view, you can just add your guardrails. So you just need to add your guardrail name, you need to pick the provider, and then enter the host IP and other stuff. So you can just simply define that PII or sensitive kind of systems. You can just secure them in such a way by putting in guardrails at the key level. So you don't need to wait for application level. There is no need for you to develop certain kind of strange solution or subscribe to Wiz or Palo Alto Networks or some other kind of, say, cybersecurity firm. These kind of small tweaks or these kind of small solutions can really help you guys in building the guardrails. Coming to the models and endpoints, again, you can define different teams, different models, and the other different parts. And you can have different playgrounds. So before even rolling out different kind of models to your entire org, you can play around with the models, test their response, test their outputs, and then you can just define them. Now coming to the Langfuse part, because these two are more connected. So LiteLLM sits as a proxy between your real keys and virtual keys. So it is totally meant for your key management or user management at the key level. So you don't even distribute 10 keys if you want just one, right? So it sits comes down to that particular part. Langfuse is more meant for your prompts. Again, it is an open source tool. Recently it got acquired, I think 2 weeks back it got acquired by ClickHouse. And ClickHouse is on a spree to acquire companies because, so ClickHouse is a database service like TSDB. So coming to the Langfuse part, it is more for prompts. It is more for defining your prompts in a prompts hub. You can define hallucination. You can have, so the best part about hallucination is that 6 months back, nobody had a clue on how to define or how to track hallucinations. But now we have such kind of technology where we can do that. So you can have LLM as a judge. So LLM, instead of doing the task for you, then now the task for LLM would be catching the hallucination. So it is more of a reverse engineering, or there's a meme where one arrow, two arrow. So it is more of a like you can have LLM as a judge to check your hallucinations. But coming to the tracing part, this gives you enormous insights, very good insights, and your user patterns. For example, you are building a startup, you are building just a vertical agents on top of it, and just have Langfuse. It will tell you a lot about your users. Again, they need to consent for it, but you will get a lot of great data. Like for example, a user is conversing on like 30 threads down or 100 threads down, or maybe the user just has one chat and there are 1,000 threads. So you can just analyze that particular user, you can analyze that particular kind of customer set and build some solution around them. For example, let me refresh it. Yeah. So let me go to LiteLLM. So there are a lot of checkboxes. Okay. You can go with trace ID, user ID. For example, you want to target a particular user, you can go with the user ID, you can go with the session ID, or where was it? Yeah. So for example, I think today morning or right now, like just before the session, I made a proxy, I made a LLM call to help me understand 3 practical ways to reduce my cloud costs this month. So I just made a simple call. It fetched all kind of response like input and output tokens along with your log views. So when was the auth call made? When was the Postgres call made, when was LiteLLM called, what was the latency of your LiteLLM, what was the latency of your LLM in general, and so very granular level data. So even like batch write to database, that level of granularity comes out of the box. Simple, super easy. So you just need to create a simple API key, go to LiteLLM, go to, I think, integrations, if it's in here. Yeah. So, and you can just integrate it. So out of the box, it will send or fetch the kind of prompts and other stuff. And similarly, we have, I think, I just asked for some kind of assistance, and yeah. So this is more of a tracing. Then you can have different prompts. So for example, you just want to have like certain sets of prompts, and you observe that certain sets of prompts are being again and again used by your company. Just go to your analyze your particular prompts. Maybe integrate Langfuse first, analyze what kind of prompts are being made, what kinds of, and what is the frequency of those prompts, and then have the prompt in here, which people can just come use, copy paste, and do this stuff. So it just leaves you with one single platform where you can trace it, where you can, so session is more of an advanced feature where you want to actually dig deep into your particular users. Single platform for tracing your prompts, your playground, again testing particular kind of endpoints or particular kind of models, you can have that. And then you can also have scores. So this is a very good feature. For example, you want to build an AI culture in a company. Every week you want to analyze your users' prompts, you want to send them notifications, okay? So Prerit, this week you logged down about 50 different prompts and your score is 98%. Or maybe 50%, and these are the improvement areas. So you can easily build such scores around it. Again, LLM will be doing it. So it is kind of LLM on top of LLM. So chaining of LLMs where LLM will just fetch all your prompts, analyze, assign the score. Again, you have to define what kind of scores do you want, and then you can move ahead. And similarly, we have, I think, I created already evaluator today. So you can have different hallucination checks. So you want to check for correctness, you want to check for relevance, you want to check for toxicity. So in a company you feel like, okay, people are just not using AI in the right fashion, and you want, or you're building some startup or some kind of product where it is, so the problem statement is about toxicity remover, okay? So then you can simply just have this checker. You can define your prompt. You can just define what you actually want. So this is what I created. So this is more of a generic prompt. You just need to define, you just need to pass in the inputs, and the rest everything will be done. Yeah, so this was about Langfuse, but coming to OpenLit, which was the main part of our today's talk. So I just showcased you LiteLLM and Langfuse. So in terms of traces, I'm sure you would have also figured out that OpenLit is not that great. But what it is great at is Vault. So you can just simply store your keys, which LiteLLM or OpenAI or Langfuse doesn't support. You can simply have exceptions in here. So I simply wanted to showcase these different 3 tools. It is totally up to you guys to use in different kind of combinations, different kind of permutations and combinations. But some people like OpenLit because it is very naive, very intuitive, not such, for example, a new user, a non-techie user, when they come to your particular Langfuse, most probably they won't get anything, right? But when it comes to OpenLit, people will easily get, okay, this is the request duration, this is the status code. You can have the same thing. So you can have evaluations, you can have so you can just define evaluation check, like config in this particular part. You can define the OpenAI key, You can define like at what particular point of time this will be run for your different particular prompts. And you can have different dashboards, so different cost dashboard, different P95, P99. So I would recommend OpenLit for more of marketing. That's why I had like 3 teams. So engineering, marketing, and sales. So marketing and sales, because they are not that tech savvy, they don't know about Grafana, they don't know about any other stack. This tool is very intuitive and good for those people. Again, the use case is simple. All the two tools, Langfuse and OpenLit, they do evaluation, prompt tracing, another part. And similarly, your Langfuse should be more for, I think, pro users, or maybe for CXO level reporting, where you get all the right kind of data for all your teams, all your employees. And LiteLLM is again a centralized way to manage your keys. So no matter if your team is 10, 20, or 30, I think today or tomorrow or maybe on Monday, you should implement and try to use LiteLLM, because as you're going to scale a bit bigger, it will be very, very complicated to transition your OpenAI licenses to a single license. And I think this is a very, like, big enterprises often see this kind of issues. So for adopting AI, they are going to launch 6 months of training camp or 6 months of like adoption series where they just focus on transitioning from keys. So it's good that if you're small, you just transition it to at that particular point of time to save your future hours for future engineering hours. So today, I think we saw prompt chain tracing. Again, token economics is more like plain vanilla kind of stuff, where LiteLM already has your updated costs per input and output tokens per model per company. So it is just going to calculate your costs. Let me go to usage. So it is just going to calculate your cost. Similarly goes for Langfuse. So you can simply have different dashboards for cost, for duration. But I would really stick to LiteLLM for cost and other parts, because it is sitting at that junction of key distribution and key usage, as compared to Langfuse, which is again, I prefer Langfuse for more of a prompt level changes, or AI, introducing AI culture and having more of a like oversight view. But I will really vouch for LiteLLM in terms of cost management. And then again, you can have LiteLLM as a judge. So there are 2 ways to go for evaluation. First is pragmatic, and second is second is LLM based. I would recommend, if you have the manpower, if you have the skills, go with pragmatic. But if you don't have that, I think you need to make your prompts a bit more deterministic in order to go with the LiteLLM based judge. And all the 3 tools, so Langfuse, all the 2 tools, Langfuse and OpenLit, both come with LLM as a judge. So, and you can have LiteLLM as a judge, so replace real key with the virtual key. So this comes in hand, and I think hallucinations and governance or management comes together. Yeah, so I would recommend, again, marketing, non-tech teams, OpenLit, LiteLLM, Langfuse, go for engineering teams or pro users. And also all these 3 tools are open source, so you can just simply self-host. There is no need to pay for licenses and other stuff, so you just can self-host. A lot of metrics, traces, profiles, or other kind of data like P95, Q depth, Q length, they come in handy. So there is no need for you to implement different observability solution for a observability solution. So I hope you get what I'm saying. But yeah, so thanks guys for listening. It's I think 5:20, and thanks for joining. It's time for Q&A. If you want to ask any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah.